Malika of Evanston Live TV, and I have with me today Mr. Matt Ouren, who works for our Evanston City Manager office. He is the, let me get the word out, the participatory budget manager. That is a very hard word to say. Participatory. So you might hear me say PB throughout this interview. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yes, yes. And we have a returning guest, Kemone Hendricks. Many of you are very well familiar with this woman right here. She's done a lot of great work here in our community with Juneteenth, and she has a wonderful organization that helps teen mothers. And she's here to talk. She's been a part of this whole process as well. And I know many of you out there have a lot of questions about what this is. And you need to know, because there is a very important vote coming up that has to do with $3 million. And where is that $3 million going to go? It can impact your household. You need to engage, know the information, and know about this voting process that is coming up in September. So welcome both of you so much. Thank you for coming on to explain such a very important process that is taking place in our city, that's been taking place for months. And now the moment of truth is coming up in September. So, you know, if you all want to explain, first let's talk about the voting, because we're gonna drill that in everyone's head, is the importance of this vote. Matt, if you want to tell everyone the importance of this vote.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. It's crucially important that people vote. The city of Evanston has set aside $3 million for the community to directly decide how to spend. And that is being allocated through the process of participatory budgeting. And that process looks like a phase of idea collection that happened from November to February of 2023. And then we've been working with wonderful budget delegates like Kemone, who've been developing these ideas that we received into proposals over the last 7 months. And now we're going to be voting during the whole month of September on the proposals that the volunteer budget delegates developed. And so it's crucially important that you all register to vote online or come to an in-person voting location during the month of September so that you can have your voice heard, so you can decide how Evanston spends $3 million of its budget.
All right. Yes, this is huge. And Kemone sent me everyone who has a request. And I'm looking at some of these requests, but so Kemone, how many of these do we get to select? It's a long list.
Yes, so it's a total of 20 proposals, but you only get to choose up to 7. Now you can choose between 1 and 7, just not more than 7. You can vote on 2, you can vote on 3, but just not more than 7.
Okay.
Out of 20.
Out of 20. Okay. So do you want to read the list of 20 so people have an idea, or I can read them?
You read them, Malika.
Okay, so really quick, because we want to keep this interview quick, because I want people to really watch this. So you have affordable housing asking for $810,000, rental assistance $747,000, equitable fares $700,000, bike vouchers $680,000, forestry internships $293,000, Evanston Urban Farm $350,000, mental health first aid $50,000. I'm surprised that one is that low. Mental health first aid, you would think?
I can answer a question on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the budget delegates on the Health and Family Support Committee decided to put mental health first aid as an option to help address mental health needs in the community. And what that program is going to look like is have people trained in mental health first aid. And it's hoping to train about 700 people, and starting with teachers, first responders, folks like that, to try and really have the most impact. in the community.
Okay. Okay. I still think it should be higher though. But
Yeah.
I still think
Yep.
it should be higher. All right. So you all paying attention out there? These are the people who have come forward for their ask for that part of that 3 million. Okay. So mental health first aid, 50 grand. Mobile dental van, 2,500,000. Now that's a lot. I mean, are they literally going to be putting veneers in people's teeth, mobile, going around town? Like, that's a lot of, that's a lot. That's okay. You know, just my thought, but yeah, people do need dental care. I'm not going to devalue that. Grants for education, training, and support, 700,000. Small business grants, 150,000. Now, see, I would think that one would be higher. Only 150,000 for small business grants? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can comment if you want, but just let me know.
Yeah, please comment. Like,
Yeah.
why is that so low?
So these proposals were all developed by volunteer community members in conjunction with city staff. So the community members were really the people making the final decisions. So for example, the small business grants, the community members working on that, while working with city staff, decided that I think the proposal is for 10 grants to local small businesses in the amount of about 14,500. And so these community members decided that this is the appropriate size of for that program. But it's okay to disagree, right? That's part of it. So.
Yeah. Okay. And that's bringing up another question in my head, but I'll save it for later. Small business incubator, 495,000. Community events fund, 230,000. Teen parents program, 300,000. That's an important one too. All of these are important. All of these are major important. Roller skating, 530,000. I want to comment on that.
Yeah, I can just add some context. That proposal has come from the Youth and Young Adult Committee, and their ask is to help create a space where people can roller skate again in the city of Evanston. I haven't been around that long, but my understanding is there was previously space to roller skate, and now there's not really a great space. So they want to bring roller skating back to Evanston. So that proposal is for the cost of adding a new floor so that people can roller skate. Okay,
I get that. Youth drop-in program improvements, 210,000. Low-income ambassadors for Evanston families, 220,000. I would think that one would be higher too. Affordable refugee housing, 645,000. African Caribbean Resource Centers, 628,500. ASPA Cultural Center. What's ASPA?
Thank you. We've tried to change our branding for that one based on requests from the community members who developed that proposal, but ASPA is ASPA, Asian, South Asian, Pacific Islander American. Now we are talking about that proposal as the Asian American Cultural Center.
Okay. Senior transportation assistance, 225,000, and that's the last one.
Correct.
Okay, so all of these are major important. So that's going to be a tough decision. You have to pick 7 out of those. And in the voting, do you get to say that they should get more money or less money?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Kemone, of course, let me know if you have any input to add, but a lot of these seem like things in my wheelhouse. So when you're voting, the budget delegates worked and they decided that this is an appropriate budget for this project. So the budget can't be lower than the amount needed to execute the project that they're proposing. And so when people are voting, they're just voting saying, I approve this project. This is one of the up to seven that I think would be great to add to the city of Evanston.
Okay, got it, got it.
And
Now,
can I add something, Nika?
oh, yes.
Just based on your question, because I think a lot of community members are looking at this and they have questions because they weren't a part of the process. And this is why it's so important for people to really show up and vote. I believe it was Alderman Devon Reed who initially proposed this to the city council. And I'm so happy you're doing this interview, Malika, because I think it's really, really important to not let this go over your heads, Evanston. By Alderman Devon Reed proposing this and this coming to life here in Evanston, this really gives you as community members the opportunity to tell city council what you want done, how much, and their only input in this is to actually implement it and do it. Now, to me, that's really what the city council is hired to do, right? Normally we see them up there making, majority of the decisions, they, have ushered out money, the 43 million, some from the ARPA funds already to what they believe is appropriate way to spend this money, right? Now, we've been given a very unique opportunity with the ARPA funds, but this doesn't have to be the end. This could only just be the beginning. We can ask that city council actually puts aside a percentage of the budget every year towards participatory budget. But we need to make sure that you guys come out and vote and show them that we want the power in our hands. We want some actual real say-so as community members, as business members, as children that live, in this community, right? But we need you to come out. We don't want them, and I put them in quotations, to have a reason to say, oh, participatory budget didn't work, people didn't come out and vote. People are like, no, this is a real life opportunity. If you see something on this ballot that you don't agree with, or you feel like you had an idea that should have made the ballot, make sure you have a chance to do that next year or the following year or whatever it may be. Make sure, because this is real. This is something that's done all around the country already. This is not something new. This is not something that Evanston just created. This is real life. People are actually doing this already in other communities. So we need to make sure that this is a huge success so that your idea or your initiative or your thoughts can really be heard in the following years.
All right, girl, that just put it all in a nutshell. If you didn't get the point of how important this is, then, I don't know, something's wrong with you. You're brain dead. I don't know. And Kemone, you have an ask on here as well. Do you want to tell people about that, the Teen Parents Program? And I was the first to interview you on your program.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. You really came out in support. So this was back in 2019 when I first started my organization. A lot of people know me for Juneteenth because it's just become so big now. But really, when I first started Evanston Present and Future, the foundation of it was to support teen parents. That was my passion. That was my driving force into getting myself out there and getting, in people's faces and talking about it and building. And it, although, Juneteenth and other initiatives kind of, took the forefront, it's really because it's hard to get people to support teen parents on the level that I believe is absolutely necessary. A part of my story is that I had my daughter when I was 16 years old, right here in Evanston, while I was in ETHS. And, I've always believed there's more that all communities could and should be doing when it comes to teen parents. There is a lot of social services out there for the babies of teen parents. There's social services out there for the teen parents and mothers in general, right? But what is there to really build them up economically, socially, so that the generational, I'm going to call it a generational curse. That's what it is in some situations, is broken, right? So it's not passed down to the children. And, that's what the program is really about. It's creating a really large support system and mentorship program for teen mothers to become economically stable through entrepreneurship, because I believe that teen parents should not be in the same social services line as other people. These are our youth, our future, raising our future. This is our future, raising our future. And if we have the means to do it as a community, I think that we should be doing it. And I was so excited to see so many idea submissions around teen parents, around young mothers, around creating some type of wider, broader support system for young mothers in the community. So upon that, that's when we, as the whole committee, started to really support and build the sorry, my cat, and build the teen parent program up, as well as we actually worked on two. It's the teen parent program and also the community events initiative that I worked on with the community building committee.
Okay, awesome. And your daughter is doing fantastic. She's a future doctor.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Awesome. So I did get some questions from some community members who have been really wondering, how this participatory budget process is going. And again, we're going to say it again. The vote is in September, people. The vote is in September. Okay. So let me see. Why isn't there a heavy interest on art programming when Evanston is so culturally rich, but many have no access or knowledge of what's available when young people especially thrive in that area because they need outlets for expression in these difficult times?
Matt, we had an arts committee, didn't we?
Yeah, so part of the process is we had several ideas that were focused on arts, culture, recreation, and things of that nature. So we received ideas regarding that very question, and we had a committee look at ideas regarding that. And I think the art or the education, recreation, training proposal gets to that a little bit because it provides incentives for young people to engage in extracurricular activities to help them develop and find outlets. But that specific proposal didn't make it through the process that budget delegates like Kemone was alluding to, where the committee comes together, looks at all the ideas that came through and prioritizes them. And these folks that went through the ideas are community members who really came from every part of the community and shared one thing in common, which is that they want to make Evanston better, which I thought was a really awesome part of the process.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get two more questions in here and let you guys go, because I know you all have a lot going on, especially with this budget. Another question, what about those on fixed income? It seems the city provided $500 additional assistance to some, but who were they and why?
So that question sounds like it is in reference to the guaranteed income pilot program, which isn't necessarily directly, that's not associated with participatory budgeting. So I can't answer the direct question, but I think several of the proposals do help people, especially those on fixed incomes, that you can vote for in September for participatory budgeting.
Okay. I'm gonna squeeze two more in here. Why are funding requests only associated with not-for-profits in Evanston?
So some of the funding requests are associated with non-for-profits, For example, the Teen Parents Program, the city doesn't necessarily have capacity to add a new program. So in that case, it's associated with a not-for-profit. But other proposals are just things that the city will do. So some of them are going to be implemented by not-for-profits, and some will be implemented by the city itself.
Okay. Why aren't individuals working extremely hard able to know about and receive funding?
What? Could you elaborate more on that question?
I don't know the person who sent it in. Maybe I should have made this an open forum to elaborate on their question.
I can respond.
Okay.
Yeah, so as the participatory budgeting manager, I work with a team of outreach workers and with people who volunteer to do outreach that are canvassing. So we're all over the community, really trying to tell people about what we're doing because it's a challenge. And although we can't engage everyone, right? It's a community of 78,000 people. We're a team of 3, plus, of course, several volunteers. So we have been really actively trying to engage folks with this participatory budgeting. And we can't connect with everyone, but like Kemone said, if you're hearing about it now and you want it to continue so you can get on it next time, voting is the best thing that you can do to help show that this was a successful process.
How do you think the engagement, how do you measure the engagement? Did you think it was successful this first round, Kemone?
I think, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
The engagement, the participating. I mean, we haven't gotten to the voting. That's really going to measure it.
Right.
To actually turn out to vote or online voting. Keep that in mind, people. You can vote for your convenience. But as far as for the past, 7 months, what has that been like? What has it been feeling like with the residents and their engagement?
Well, my personal experience, I've had a great experience thus far because I just, know how important this is. And I know all the budget delegates and everyone that is a part of the team. I mean, we met, no one wants to come in and work on budgets on Saturdays. We met Saturdays, at the Civic Center for the past 7 months. I had my own situations, like I was going to the Saturday meetings throughout the situations that I've had throughout planning Juneteenth because I knew how important this was. But I will be very honest with this. I feel like the PB team did not get enough, I'm going to choose my words wisely with this. I guess I feel like they didn't get enough support from the city as wise as making sure that everyone knew the process. Because I've spoken to a lot of people who had no idea what's going on about it. And I know, I do marketing sometimes, no matter how much marketing you do, people don't really, still, know what's going on. But I feel like there could have been a bigger push on the communication side through the city to let the residents know about participatory budgeting and get more involved. Because, like Matt said, they're a staff of 3, we have a bunch of volunteers, but I feel like the city is already so solid as why there's communications and things of that nature. I've seen like a few emails about PB from the city, but I feel like there could have been a lot more as this being a city initiative. I feel like it could have been a lot more broadly communicated on the city platforms, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that there should have been more, because even on social media, the only thing I would see are just, some of these, just a couple of these groups on the list holding their meetings. So I think that led people to believe, oh, that's just something for them. You know what I mean? It's not, that doesn't pertain to me, or why would I attend this meeting? So I think it was some confusion in there. So yeah, the communication, could have been a lot better on that. I definitely agree with that. But I think going forward next year, I think this is a great alderperson Devon Reed. I think this is an awesome idea, and I hope we can do it for other things as well. To really get the community's vote on decisions, because sometimes they make great decisions, the council, and then sometimes you're like, well, what the hell was that? But that would be great. That would be great. So awesome to alderperson Reed. I want to thank you two so much for coming on and wanting to really get the word out and stressing to people how important this is. And once we make this a success, like you explained, Kemone, then it opens the door to so much more community engagement and really feeling like you're a part of the decision and not just going to public comment or sending an email. You're often ignored. You're not even getting a response. But now your vote will actually mean something.
Absolutely.
And it's documented.
Absolutely.
So thank you all so much. And if you want to get one last word out to people, Matt?
Thanks, Malika. My last word is that we are voting in September. You can register to vote online at pbevanston.org, and that will give you access to the ballot in September. If you don't want to register online, we will have in-person voting locations and events. We are going to have an event at Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center on September 10th from 2 to 5 p.m. and at the Levy Senior Center on September 23rd from 2 to 5 p.m. So you can come to those events and keep an eye out for other events where you can vote. It's really important. You get to decide. You don't just get to have a say. You don't get to give input. You get to decide how the city spends $3 million.
Awesome. And Kemone, bring the fire.
So yes, of course, I want to encourage everyone to please support and make the Teen Parent Program, one of your votes. It's extremely important. There are a group of people who suffered tremendously during the pandemic and is still, needing more support. And another reason to get involved in PB is that it's a great way to get funding for initiatives that are normally not funded. Right, for initiatives that often get looked over, for initiatives, that, are getting blocked out, for whatever certain reasons that do exist. So it's really important to support this initiative and come out and show Evanston that, the community, we want power, and PB is power back to the community.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Matt Ouren, and thank you, Kemone Hendricks.
Thank you, Malika. As always.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Matt. This is Malika, Evanston Live TV. I'll be sure to put the voting information in the description of this post. And you all, please, this is so important. Once you get this going, you'll have, like they said, you'll be a part of the decision. You will truly be a part of the decision. So please, you all vote. There's no excuse not to. You have it online and you can do it in person. So stay tuned, stay engaged. Oh, and where can they reach you all if they have further questions?
So you can reach me at my evanstonpresentandfuture@gmail.com or kemonehendricks@gmail.com.
Matt?
And you all can reach me at mouren@cityofevanston.org, my email.
All right. Thank you, guys. Stay engaged.
Thank you, Malika.